Good morning, Ghana, and welcome to the show for this week. There's a sports today. My name is Kwame and coming up on the show, we're going to be bringing you a wrap of all the major sporting events that transpired over the weekend. We'll be keeping you up to speed with the latest on Ghanaian players. Are they going to be staying with their clubs, or are they going to be making the transition from one club to the other? The launch of Ghana's edition of the Fastest Man also took place at the offices of Techno. We'll be bringing you all that, and of course, for fans of the major European clubs, they have been involved in a lot of preseason games. The Emirates Cup has been ongoing in London. Some of the clubs are also in the United States. Football Club Barcelona also playing in a Gampa Trophy on Friday, where they crushed Santos by 8-0. All this and more coming up after this break. You're still live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. This is the maiden edition of the show. That's, of course, for this week. And straight away, we go into the sporting tabloids. This morning, I have the 90 minutes. I have Captivating Ghana Sports and, of course, the Sports Filler. Let's begin with the 90 minutes on the front page of the paper. What do we have there? You'd bet that the 90 minutes would always have stills of players who make the news. Andrea Dede Ayew is there. What's the latest on him? Where are we getting from France? Is that he's going to be staying with Marseille after he asked to leave early this season. Of course, there is also a picture of Cristiano Ronaldo there as well, together with John Terry and Brazilian sensation Neymar. Neymar played in that game for Barcelona against his former club Santos on Friday. They were trashed by 8-0. And the big headline, of course, has to do with Andre Dede Ayew. Well, I'm sure they would have gone to print before that story of he staying with the club came out. And Wenger slams crazy £100 million bail bid. All that on the front page of the 90 Minutes sports paper. Let's move on to the center spread of the paper and see what is there. 90 Minutes have been profiling players in recent times, and this morning, who do they have there? Our man at Milan, Sule Ali Muntari. He's been profiled in the center spread of the 90 Minutes sports paper. Okay, so if you want to read a lot more about Sule Ali Muntari, you know what to do. The back page, of course, has another Ghanaian who is making it with Arsenal Football Club. Is he going to be getting a lot more playing time this season? He has struggled to stake a claim for a starting berth in the Arsenal team. Well, he's seen here together with Lucas Podolski, and you know who we're talking about, don't you? Emmanuel Frimpong is in there. So grab a copy of the 90 Minutes sports paper and get to read a lot more on the stories in there. Quite a number of them concerning Ghanaian players and whether they're going to be staying with their clubs or whether they're going to be moving on to other clubs in Europe. We continue with the graphic sports. On the front page of the paper, says, I was wrong on Kotoko transfer. And who is making these comments? FA President Kwesi Nyantechi making those comments. Well, he's been engaged in some kind of verbal feud with our former executive chairman of the club, that's Kumasi Asante Kotoko, on quite a number of things, especially concerning deals between the club and some other clubs. He was particularly not happy with so-called cooperation agreements. Well, the FA president has since gone back on his word. And Ronaldo demands £320,000 a week to stay at Real Madrid. And Pacman says, I've got 3 years more left in me. All these stories on the front page of the graphic sports. Let's move on to the lifestyle page. And who are the graphic sports profiling today? Well, it's not normal that you get to see the graphic sports profiling a manager. This morning they have Andre Villas-Boas, who is a coach of Tottenham Hotspur. Well, he's a fan of other things aside football. So you've seen him with this gear and together with his wife and beautiful daughter. It's not all about work. Sometimes you need to have fun. Andre Villas-Boas, the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. We move on to the center spread of the graphic sports. And Well, they have stills of matches of the major European clubs who were preparing for season 2013, season 2014, from London to so many other venues. And I love that picture of Carlo Ancelotti and Zinedine Zidane, number 1 and number 2 at Real Madrid these days. So we move on with graphic sports on the back page of the paper. You have Junior Black Sticks angry over neglect by sports ministry. Well, the team are in far away Germany. I'm not too sure what exactly the situation is, but we all do know the challenges that the team had to go through before playing for Germany. Well, they've been in Germany and have been at the receiving end of some huge score lines. I'm sure that's the usual thing. Money, money, money. And then, of course, some bits on Kotoko transfers as well. The FA president coming out clear on these issues. If you want to know a lot more about these stories, make your way to the newsstand, grab a copy of the Graphic Sports and get to read a lot more on this. So that's it for the Graphic Sports. Let's move on to the captivating Ghana Sports. And they also have loads of pictures on the front page of their paper this morning. Kennedy Japan is there, Andre Dideayu is there, Kuja Samoa Jan starts to play Canada in Toronto. That's a friendly match being put together. Is that going to come on? Unfortunately, a friendly game against Iran was called off at the very last minute. David Villa, that's Cristiano Ronaldo. Mubarak Wakasu is in some kind of trouble with his club president, and Kevin Prince Boateng and Melissa Sata all on the front page of the captivating Ghana Sports. Let's move on finally to the exciting sports filler, and on the front page of the paper, well, it looks like a lot is going out to the top players yet again. Michael Essien is there together with his Chelsea teammates David Luiz, Van Ginkel, Oscar, and all the top players who receive thousands of bucks at the bridge. Lionel Messi together with Neymar. Also in there, Wayne Rooney, is he going to be staying with Manchester United or is he going to be moving to Chelsea? Up to £40 million being quoted by some papers. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is there as well. Daniele De Rossi, Mario Balotelli, Fatau Dauda, Gareth Bale, Claudio Marchisio, all on the front page of the exciting sports filler. The back page of the paper has David Luiz and the rest of the Chelsea stars. It's preparation for season 2013, season 2014. The Blues have a new boss, Jose Mourinho, and quite a number of new players have also made their way to the bridge. Players being recalled on loan as well. The likes of Romelu Lukaku have made their way back to the bridge, and it will be interesting to see how Chelsea approach season 2013, season 2014 together with their former boss and now current manager, of course, Jose Mourinho. So that's it for the sporting tabloids. Make your way to the newsstand and get to read a lot more on these stories. Of course, the biggest interest would have to be with Ghanaian players and whether they're going to be staying with their clubs or whether they are going to be moving on. And that's what we're going to be starting with right now, and begin with the story on Andre Dideayu. What's the latest concerning the young man? Well, the stories that said the young man was going to be moving away from Olympique Marseille. Now, what we are gathering is that Andre Ayew has returned to action for Marseille in their 4-3 defeat to Sampdoria in the pre-season friendly over the weekend after overcoming a groin injury. Now, the midfielder picked up an injury last week and missed the friendly against Italian side Parma. Now, Ayew has made 35 appearances for the League One side last season, scoring 9 goals. He was pivotal in Marseille, finishing second in the French Ligue 1 behind rivals Paris Saint-Germain. Let's still stay in France now and focus on Black Stars defender John Boy. Now, the player has come out to rubbish reports claiming the French Ligue 1 side star René are considering releasing him of his services. Now, instead, the 26-year-old has revealed that Les Rouges want to offer him a new deal at the club. Now, the reports came as a surprise as René were battling to keep hold of the solid defenders as Giants, Marseille, Lyon, and Sunderland have all shown an interest in the player. He quashed the reports in a short interview with a local media here in Ghana after Rene revealed that other clubs are queuing up to sign the player. Now, Boy was one of Rene's key players last season, making 21 Liga appearances. Let's move over to England now, and of course, a few Ghanaian players making it there, beginning with Michael Essien, and of course, he is with his club, Chelsea in England. And what's the story on Michael Essien? Well, he's doing pretty well on pre-season, and Essien says that Chelsea are in very competitive mood for the start of season 2013 and 2014. Now, the midfielder is making a return to the bridge after a season on loan at Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho, who has also returned to Chelsea. Now, the Blues have had an impressive pre-season so far, and the Portuguese are boss and are raring to go for the Premier League opener on 18th of August. Now, Essien, 30, has expressed satisfaction with the way the club's pre-season program is panning out so far. Let's though stay in England, and this time around look at Albert Dwomoh, who's where Middlesbrough boss Tony Mowbray is said to be contemplating a move for the player. Now, Middlesbrough boss Tony Mowbray has refused to confirm interest in signing Bristol City winger Albert Dwomoh, who has submitted a transfer request. Now, although Mowbray would not comment on the 25-year-old Ghana international, he did reveal that the club are in negotiations to sign the player. Now, Hungary international Joseph Vargas' loan from Debrecen and the arrival of free agent Dean Whitehead have been the extent of Boro's summer business, while Scott McDonald, Julio Aka, and Nicky Bailey are among the departures. Albert Dwomoh being caught in a lot of a transfer frenzy, and one moment he's staying with the club, another moment he's leaving. But he has come out to say that he's not enthused about playing in the third tier of English football. Let's move away from Albert Dwomoh and do some bits on Christian Atsu. Now, there are so many conflicting stories concerning this player that it's difficult to tell whether he's going to be in England or whether he's going to be in Portugal for the new season. Now, the Ghanaian winger is reported by a French football website to have left his club for England to facilitate his move. Now, Ghanaian winger Christian Atsu has left FC Porto's pre-season camp for England as his move to the Premier League gathers pace. Now, Porto will soon make the move official with the already ruled out player not a part of the Dragao outfit for the upcoming season. The 21-year-old refused to extend his contract as he seeks a new challenge with the likes of Liverpool, Spurs, and all showing interest. Now, Atsu was not included in the provisional FC Porto team for the 2013-2014 season and was not present when the players took to stage to showcase their jersey numbers on Sunday night. From Christian Atsu, we move on to a young man who had his opportunity for AC Milan in the Audi Cup last week, 19-year-old Kingsley Boateng. Now, what's the story on the player? Now, Milan boss Massimiliano Allegri says Ghana prospect Kingsley Boateng has a great desire to succeed with the Rossoneri's. Boateng, 19, came over the bench to claim victory for the European powerhouse in the 1-0 Audi Cup third-place playoff win against Brazilian side Sao Paulo at the Allianz Arena in Munich on Thursday. Milan boss Allegri is obviously impressed with the starlet's commitment to work and has praised him for his output and general conduct. Well, it will be interesting to see whether the young man gets a chance at playing for a team like Milan, who have the likes of Mario Balotelli and Stefan El Shaarawy to count on as far as striking options are concerned. Let's move on to Matthew Amwa. He was a regular in the Black Stars setup a couple of years ago. These days he's trying to get a looking into the national team, and even at the club level, things are not really going on well for the player. And Matthew Amwa is almost on the verge of signing for Dutch Eredivisie side Heracles Almelo on a one-year contract. Now, the 32-year-old free agent agreed personal terms with the club, passed medicals over the weekend, and signed a deal which would keep him at the club for their entire 2013-2014 season, and has been handed the number 9 jersey at the club. He joins Ghanaian midfielder Kwame, who is the deputy captain of the club. From Mati Amwa, we move on to Mubarak Wakasu. Now, Wakasu is said to be in some kind of standoff with his club president concerning his stay at the club or otherwise. Well, a lot of clubs are encircling the player at the moment, and it's understandable why the player will be involved in this kind of situation with the club president. Now, Espanyol president Juan Collet has hit out on Mubarak Wakasu after the midfielder criticized the club over a new contract. Now, the Ghana international admitted that he was very angry and sad after negotiations between himself and the Periquitos broke down. But the team's chief has hit back at the 23-year-old, saying, "We are offering twice his current wages, and we cannot offer any more. We cannot pay him any more than that or accept offers that we deem unacceptable. I do not want a debate, and I think Wakasu should be grateful." Well, I'm not too sure how much the player is asking to be paid, but it's clear that the club are doing all their best to keep the player. As to whether he's going to be staying at the club or whether he's going to be moving on would be another thing. Let's move on, and this time around do some bets on Ebenezer Asifua. He had a great tournament at Turkey 2013, and there was word over the weekend that he was on the verge of signing for Swiss club FC Sion. Now, the player has come out to rubbish these reports. He's saying at the moment that he's only training with the club. Now, Ghana under 20 star Ebenezer Asifua has rubbish claims that he signed a 4-year deal with Swiss side FC Sion. Now, the 2013 under 20 World Cup goal scorer is still in Ghana, contrary to media reports that he's in Switzerland to complete a deal. Now, speaking to an Accra-based radio station over the weekend, the player said all the reports were untrue and he was in Ghana training with Liberty Professionals. Says he, "I am still a player of Liberty Professionals, and as you can see, I am still in Accra." So the player clearly stating that he's gone nowhere and he is in Accra playing for Liberty Professionals. From Ebenezer Asifua, we move on to a player who seems to have been forgotten by many a Ghanaian football fan. Had a great time with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He's moved into the Arab world. Unfortunately, things are not really going well for him, and that's Akwafo. Akwafo has been out there in North Africa for some time, and word we are getting from up north is that Egyptian side Al Ittihad have parted ways with a greater part of its playing body, with the exception of Ghana's Francis Akwafo and 7 others. Now, the Ghanaian winger has been the club's best player since joining them 3 seasons ago and has been pivotal in various campaigns. Now, Go Ghana also understands that the club has rejected 2 recent offers from for the former local Black Stars player. Well, let's move on from Francis Akwafo to Solomon Asante. Solomon Asante played for Brekum Chelsea last season. These days plays for Chipisa Mazembe in Congo. Now, he was on target for his club in the CAF Confederations Cup over the weekend. Now, Ghanaian winger Solomon Asante took just 6 minutes of the regulation time to claim the opening goal for Chipisa Mazembe and set up 2 others for the Congolese as they trounced FUS Rabat by 3-0 in their Confederations Cup clash over the weekend. Now, Asante raced the Ravens into the lead just 6 minutes into the game at the Stade de TP Mazembe before turning the architect to set up goals for Mbwana Samata and Malian Shebani Shrari. Now, defender Kisi Boateng and Asante were named in the starting lineup by Patrice Cartiron, while Glatton Awako was given a place on the substitute bench. In a charged atmosphere at the Kamalondo City in Lumumbashi, Lady Abel stole the show with his elusive pace, thrills and gifts, which can match any world-class standards. So a lot being said about the player in that regard and how he's performing for his new club. Let's still stay on the continent and focus on Ghanaian players. This time around, we're looking at Daniel Ejay. Nationals goalkeeper Daniel Ejay, and he has since moved on from the Globe Premier League to the PSL in South Africa. Now, he played his first game in the South African Premier League over the weekend, but was on the receiving end of 4 goals on his debut for Free State Stars. Now, the Black Stars goalkeeper joined A. Lala Koto last month from Ghana Premier League club Liberty Professionals. The 23-year-old honeymoon period in South Africa was, however, short-lived after his side had taken an early lead against Matatanta. Now, Mugezi Bobi had put Free State ahead in the 10th minute, but defender Soriala Gege will be sent off later in the half, allowing SuperSport to control. SuperSport will later go on to score 3 goals against Ajay's Free State Stars. So Daniel Ajay conceding 4 goals in his first game for his club. We'll be doing a bit more on Ghanaian players pretty shortly, but let's do some bit on Galka. And Galka, and word coming in from in there has it that they're looking at launching this year's top 4 events in Kumasi. Now, this year's edition would have Kumasi, Asante Kotoko, Brekum Chelsea, Mediama, and Ibutia Dolphs chase for the Ultimate Trophy in an all-player format set for this the start of September and end on the 22nd. Now, per the 2013 edition of the tournament rules, all competing teams would use their respective home venues, but before proceedings kick off at the various venues, organizers have decided to launch the tourney at a yet-to-be-determined venue later this month in Kumasi, the second capital of Ghana. Now, the top 4 competition is an off-season tourney that traditionally prepares clubs involved in the various African club competitions and the league proper for the season ahead. The competition couldn't come off in 2012 due to the unavailability of venues and also the closeness of the start of the past Ghana Premier League season. From Galka, we move on to the local Black Stars. Now, the local Black Stars were supposed to have been involved in a friendly international against Libya, but head coach of the team, Maxwell Kanedu, has come out to confirm that the international friendly with Libya would no longer go ahead as planned. Now, the Ghana FA recently received an invitation for a friendly encounter with Libya, a game which was pending confirmation. However, the game was reportedly set for the coming week, with a supposed list of players called for the game circulating in the media. Now, Ghana booked the players in the tournament for the 3rd successive time without kicking a ball, after Benin withdrew from the preliminary qualification round. Now, the 2014 CHAN tournament will be staged early next year in South Africa. From Maxwell Konedu, we move on to Sami Ajay. Sami Ajay was a regular for Accra Hearts of Oak before sojourning into Europe to try his fortunes. Well, he's back on the local scene and as considered surplus to requirements at Accra Hearts of Oak. Now, Premier League returnees Bechem United have expressed an interest in sacked Accra Hearts of Oak goalie Sami Ajay. Ajay lost his job at Accra Hearts of Oak a few days ago after falling out of favour at the club. Now, Bechem United officials are said to be monitoring Sami Ajay's situation with keen interest. The young club wants to make an impact in the league, and they see Ajay as an adequate cover in the post. Ajay, without doubt, is one of the best goalkeepers in the country, and he has been a loyal servant to the Phobian family until he lost his place in the club for a few seasons. Let's still stay on the local scene, and there's going to be an interesting development come season 2013-2014 in the Globe Premier League, because there's going to be a female coach on one of the benches of the club, and we understand that former FIFA referee Mercy Tego Kwaku is on the verge of becoming Ghana's first female coach to be on the technical bench of a club in the top flight football division. Now, according to sources, 35-year-old Tego Kwaku, who once represented Ghana at the Women's World Cup as a player and has refereed at the highest level of the women's game, including the Women's World Cup and the African Women's Championship, has joined the technical team of Tema-based Amidas Professionals as an assistant coach. She called it quits on her refereeing career in May last year. Now, Messi holds a CAF License B coaching certificate and will be serving as one of 2 assistants to new head coach Baba Ali, who recently replaced former coach Anthony Loko. Now, she won the 2010 SWAG Best Referee Award and is the first Ghanaian female referee to have handled a CAF-organized competition. She handled the 2010 African Women Championship final between Equatorial Guinea and South Africa. Let's go back to the Republic of South Africa now. And over the weekend, one young man, Yakubu Mohammed, made Ghana proud by scoring in his debut for his club, Marispec. Joy Sports caught up with the player, and he was clearly delighted with how his new season has started in the PSL.
I feel great and then very happy, and then I thank God Almighty for making this happen in my career as well. A first debut for me, and then trying to make sure get a goal for the club, and then for myself as well. So I said, it's a great opportunity, and I'm very happy, and then I thank God Almighty for that.
Yakubu, what was running through your mind when that ball entered the net?
Yeah, I was telling myself, hey, boy, I couldn't believe this happened. But, before going into the match, there was a lot of motivational factors, which I tried to put in my head. And then thanks to the technical staff and then the coach as well, who told me, hey, come on, boy, do your own thing. We know your qualities. We know what you can do. So just go onto the pitch and then do what you know best. So, I said, this motivational factor will just run through me. And then when the ball just entered into the net, I just went straight. After jubilation, I just went to the coach, and then he told me, said, thank you, boy, for a good work done.
Talk about jubilation. I watched you on TV, and I saw you doing the Azonto dance with your teammates. That tells me you were extremely happy.
Yeah, very happy. Before the game, after we ate in there, we took our lunch. We were just there, and then I was telling them, say, hey, guys, when I score, this is what I want to do. So, we just try 3 of them, and then, it happened. So I said, I think I'm very happy for myself as well.
So what did your teammates, officials, and supporters of the club say to you after the game?
Yeah, they everybody came to me and then told me, say, good work done, keep it up, and then there's more room for improvement as well. So it's like, this is not going to make me get fully headed. So it is time for me to work harder than what I did yesterday. And then, inshallah, I know the sky is going to be my limit.
Yes, as you just said, the sky is going to be your limit, but you have started on a very good note. So how are you going to keep the momentum?
Yeah, I'll make sure, as I told you, I will be well focused, well determined, working hard, train hard as well, and then pray hard as well. And then I know, inshallah, with God on my side, I know everything is going to be happy.
Yakubu, have you set any target for yourself?
Yeah, as I always tell you, I set targets as well, but, I always keep my target to myself, and then I know by the mid-section of the season, I know, inshallah, I'm going to close it up.
Now, you've tested a different league. How different is that league from the one you played here last season?
You could say, the league there in Ghana is very tough. But the different thing here is, the speed here, and then the conditioning, and then the humidity as well. So it's like, as time goes on, this is my first match, so it's like I find it a little bit at the later part of the game, I find it a little bit tired. But I know, I'll find on, and then I'll adapt.
You find yourself in a whole different environment. How are you coping with the things there?
Thank God, with the management of Marispec United and my teammates as well. And then thank God when I came here, I met Awal Mohammed and then Frank Achampon. We are like a family. It's like we always they try to guide me, and I have something, I ask them, and then they try to show me how to go about it and stuff like that. So it's like a new environment, new learning, and then we'll just see what the future holds. Like I said, we are like a family here, and then when I came in, they took me as a brother as well, and doing everything together. We share ideas and stuff like that. And sometimes when I don't understand something, and then I don't know something, I just ask them, and then they guide me as well. So I'm very happy to meet.
Yakubu, finally, before I take leave of you, is it true that Orlando Pirates refused to sign you due to you lacking stamina?
For that issue, I was even very shocked when I heard that I was lack of stamina. But my first day of training, I didn't go there for trials, and then I didn't go there to train. What the agent told me was, I'm going to sign a contract, so I'm going straight for my medical. So after medicals, and then I'm coming back to Ghana, flying back to Ghana to play the CHAN qualifier against Benin. So in the morning, I was, told to just do some rounds and then stuff like that. So that's what I was authorized to do, is what I did, because I thought it would be good for me, because I'm going to play a qualifier back here back home. So I have to, because 2 days I haven't trained, and then so I thought it's trying to do some running and then stuff like that will help me as well. And then you could also do back the humidity over there in Ghana is not the same. It's very cold. And then it's not only cold, it's freezing there in Joburg. And then you could know the humidity in Ghana, 32 degrees Celsius, very hot. So, you can't compare Joburg and Ghana together. So I was even shocked when I heard said, I didn't last 30 minutes, blah, 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 blah. So you could say, I take it as one of the things in football. As a footballer, you came across many things. But, those are some of the factors, as I said earlier on, which you have to put in you and then try to motivate you. And then you just keep on and then work hard as well. So I think, it's one of the motivational factors which I put in me, and then try to make sure that no matter what the situation I pass through here, I make sure I will try to do my best, and then make sure everybody will know, Yakubu Mohammed has done his best as a footballer and then as a striker as well.
But Yakubu, did the team give you any reason why they didn't sign you?
No, because by then Marisburg too was in the bid. And then, truly speaking, Marisburg was the first club who wrote a letter to Ashanti Gold for me. So it's like, the bidding of the transfer fee was for Marisburg was very low by then. So it's like, as a entrepreneur or a businessman, they always want the best deal for their business. So, they thought, Orlando Pirates bid was higher than Marisburg, so they tried to convince me to go to Orlando Pirates. So that was what I knew. I didn't know anything about why they refused to sign me, blah blah blah. For that, I didn't know the reason why.
So that was Yakubu Mohammed dream debut for the Ghanaian after his botched transfer to the Bucks in South Africa. These days he plays for Maritzburg United and the PSL, and he was on target for his club. Congratulations to the young man, and hope his season goes well in the South African Premier League. Let's change sports now and do some bet on athletics now. Over the weekend, top officials were in our radio division on Sports Link. Superintendent retired Chumisi Ankara was on the show together with former GAA boss, Major retired George Lutrod, and of course Baf Hussaini, the General Secretary of the Ghana Athletics Authority. And they had some interesting revelations to share with us on the show.
You judge people by results. What were our results? We had the best results throughout the 3 years which I was in office, for 3.5 years.
And did you also, scout for, bring up youngsters who were supposed to take over, those who were in top form at that time?
That was my priority. That is why I had a lot of problems with the foreign athletes, the Ghana Athletes Association. In those days, they represented the foreign athletes.
Who were they?
Francis Dodu, what's his name?
Dr. Andrews.
Dr. Andrews and others. They basically wanted to have a veto power over any decision which the GAA made. I'll give you an example. For instance, I remember when I told the late SS Atua, and he was my chief coach, I told him, look, SS, we're going to try and get coaches to travel. You choose one major tournament which you would like to go to. At that year we had the World Indoors and we had the World Outdoors in France. He said, well, Mr. Lutford, if I have to choose one, I'll go to the World Indoors. I tried to persuade him that go to the World Outdoors. That is more. Yeah. He said, no, that World Indoors is what he wanted to go to. Now, then we had the World African Games also. I had a letter from the Ghana Athletes Association, right, sent through Dr. Osu Anza, who was then the chief executive of the Sports Council, in which that letter signed by the Ghana Athletes Association, Brody was then the chairman of the Ghana Athletes Association, telling me that if you send SS Atuani, all the athletes will boycott the All African Games.
What were their reasons?
They said they didn't want him there. They didn't want SS to be part of the team.
Okay.
Period. And I thought that was a challenge to me as being chairman. When I got to the office, I was showing this letter. The first thing I told Echo Wilson, who was then the Secretary General.
And
I told Mr. Wilson.
He was a coach for Eastern Region.
Yes, he was then my Secretary General. I said, look, Echo, Mr. Wilson, put Atuani's name first. That's number one. And let's see anybody will boycott. Not one person boycotted it. And on the contrary, we had our best results in athletics for over a decade.
What was the result?
5 gold medals, I think 3 silver medals, 4 bronze, something else. It was a huge, I remember those days. It was a huge, massive victory. Because of athletics, Van Redu, and when he met me at the airport, he said, look, you guys have united the country for the results which you have produced. You have united the country, that's what he told us. And you remember from the airport, we went straight to the Accra Stadium. We didn't go through a special dispensation was made for all athletes.
Yeah.
To go directly to the sports stadium to collect their luggage and so forth. That is how proud we are making the nation. And Sunday Osai Ajiman actually took over for me. Yeah. Geza, Margaret Simpson, went to the World Championships and brought medals for Ghana.
When we came on power, we realized that the athletics were not even known. Athletics were not even seen. Now, how do we raise the profile and interest of athletics in this country?
You're talking about image enhancement.
Image enhancement to attract sponsorship. And we need to get athletes that has names. Mobley Games was Mobley Games because foreign athletes were coming to run. And those days, they used to bring 6, 7 foreign-based athletes. Our national championship, we brought 18 foreign-based athletes to come around in our areas. Ghana-based athletes, not foreigners. Our national championship.
All the 18 were
foreign-based athletes.
Which year was that?
Last year, I can bring you.
2011 or 2012.
Yes, 2011. At Elwak, 18 foreign-based athletes. As for how many foreign-based athletes were they able to bring to come and run? The reason was that one, he rightly said, was the electronic timer.
Okay.
And 2, or the people operating it.
Who brought the electronic timer?
No, we came and met it. We came and met it.
We started the whole thing. Okay. Sandy came in.
Okay.
But they were not being used. I don't know why they were not being used. But we came and looked for somebody to use it, and we sent somebody to Kenya to be trained on it.
Okay. Who was that?
One Stephen Popolampo. He was my. So when he came, he also subsequently train people to handle that. You see. And
now, what are you going to fix the machines? Where is the stadium? The recognized stadium with modern.
So the junior program. The junior program. We intentionally, we consciously did that for 2010. And we're not reaping the fruits of that. When we came here, let me tell you one critical example that people say that is dead, and I'm saying that it's not dead. When we came, Aziz was the only sprinter we have in Ghana around 2010. And Aziz could run 10.26. Our local athlete Apia could only run 10.6. That was 4 seconds difference between our topmost athlete and our local athlete.
0.4 seconds.
0.4 seconds. It was not our making. We came and met it, but we were able to resolve that. We took junior athletes and sent them to KN and sent them to Finland for 3 months period, just to close that gap. When they came, they were different people altogether. There's a precedent to this.
Who are they?
No, we took
Were they the names? Were they the athletes? Or you took?
No, they were part of the athletes.
Yes.
You took 3 to Finland?
No. We took 6 to Finland. When the idea was mooted, we sent emails to
what was Finland? Was it a training program?
Yes, it was a training
program. IWF?
No, we financed it. GA financed it. Yeah. We gave a very clear criteria to all our athletes, both local and foreign. And the problem we had that the foreign athletes have their own competition that they have already entered to run. So we gave the option that if you like to be part of the Finland team or you want to continue to compete at your European circuit. So they opted that they want to continue performing at the European circuit. That is why the foreign-based athletes were not part of it.
We are lucky to learn that we've got the machines that will give us the correct and perfect timing. It is not to time those who have already made it and they are in overseas. The local athletes who are here, how do we get them? Where should they run? How should they train? Who is to train them? It is not Bauer who is sitting there as the secretary. He cannot go everywhere.
So we can't blame the Ghana Athletics Association. We can't blame them.
We must blame the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Sports Authority. Because Ghana Education Service is doing her best to bring top athletes, young ones, catch them young to the fore. After they have done their job, leaving school, who is to take over? It is the National Sports Authority. They should have the men in the regions.
The man at the National Sports Authority is the Ghana Athletics Association.
Do they have the men in the regions? Let me tell you. From 1970s, when Emmanuel Moses, Ike Eji, Joe Apreku, George Daniels, Kakari, a host of them were running. It got to a point they couldn't run again.
Why?
Because they were old. So they must take employment. They decided to become coaches. How did they become coaches? They were given systematic training. Some of them were trained outside. After the local training under Olympic soldatic coaching courses, they were sent outside for more professional training. What is happening today?
Well, what is really happening today? That was a question posed by Superintendent retired Chumisi Ankara on the show on Sports Link over the weekend. Sad story regarding Ghana Athletics. We understand that only one lady, Janet Ponsa, is going to be competing in the name of Ghana at the World Championship in Moscow. That's going to be starting on August the 10th. It's sad for a country that raised so many athletes in years. We are now going to be having only one lady, and of course, we are not even too sure of her chances in Moscow. We'll still stay with some bit of athletics because Techno Ghana Limited has joined the launch of raising the best or the fastest man in Ghana. They've joined Rex Brobe and his team to help unearth these talents for the nation. Again, our cameras were there and we bring you excerpts of that event.
I am pretty sure you people have so many ideas that you can give to Ghana's fastest human. And that is exactly what I would wish to have from you when we are finished. We're going to launch the tartan sponsor and then the clothing line for this thing. And I'm happy to be chairman because I'll be mentioned everywhere else as being part of the history. That's why anytime they call me to be chairman, I run to the place, shoe or no shoe. I'm there. Thank you very much for accepting. The media take very good pictures and use them, especially my authority and right hand, which gives me all the... It's very interesting when you are a chief. It is no fetish. I am a very strong Christian, and when we finish, I'll let you understand why I decided to be a chief. But now, I am chairman for this function. And I think everybody else must look up to the chairman, be the chairman, listen to the chairman, and make certain that everything goes well. At the end of the day, I'll thank you.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting change. In the past, we have done certain things. Some worked, some didn't work. We've got to the point right now where our athletes have dried up. So we're trying to do something different. We gave you an invitation June 14th. You came. You can have a product. You can have the best product or the best service. If nobody knows about it, it's not going anywhere. On the other side, you can have a lousy product or lousy service, but if everybody hears about it, everybody wants a piece of it. We asked you to come June 14th. We told you who we were, my partner Captain Sam and myself, doing this amazing job, which is looking for athletes for Ghana. We told you how we were going to do it. To date, I'm very, very happy to tell you that from that time, we have been able to go to Kumasi. We have launched in Kumasi. The mayor hosted us there. We went to the athletes there. We told them about Ghana's fastest human, which is we have a big prize money, 40,000 Ghana cedis that we want to pay to 2 people. While in Kumasi, I found out that Fantabulous Kotoko, Rich Kotoko, their top player, he gets paid 1,000 cedis a month. That is 12,000 Ghana cedis for the year. We are paying 20,000 Ghana cedis to one person, a man, another 20,000 Ghana cedis to a female, together 40,000, and we are fighting to get a small platform on the media. The FA Cup that just got played, the winning prize money was, I think, 35,000 cedis to be shared among the whole team, coaches, the whole 9 yards. We are paying 40,000 to 2 individuals. Why? We're paying this amount of money to bring attention to Ghana athletics. We want to make Ghana athletics very sexy. And when I say that, people don't understand. When someone is sexy, people fight over them. People want to be seen with them. And that's what we want for Ghana athletics. We want to make it in such a point where companies come in and say, oh, don't go with this person, go with us. Oh, don't go with us, go with this person. And it has already started. If you are 80 years old, you can run the 100 meters. Please sign up. We will pay you the money if you win. If you are 3 years old and you can run fast, please sign up. Where we are right now, we're using this month for registration. Our partners, Fidelity Bank, have been so gracious, and the forms are at every Fidelity Bank branch. 10 Ghana cedis. I wanted to make it free, but my wise captain says no, there has to be some value, so we slap the 10 CD rate to it to give people some value. So you go to any Fidelity Bank branch, you get your form, you fill it, you leave a portion, you take a portion with you, and then at the end of August, we will then compile the names. Those of people that registered in the north, we have a place for them to do their trials. So the month of September will be used for a lot of 60-meter runs to do eliminations. So August is registration, September is eliminations, lots of 60 meters at Elwag, Pajo Stadium, Kumasi Sports Stadium, Legon Stadium, and so forth, till we get 50. We want at the end of September to have 50 people, 50 male, 50 female.
It's just a matter of, do we have some team in place that we were grooming to go to the World Championship? If we don't, then maybe it's a transition period that we see. But if it becomes something that happens all the time, then we have a problem. And I believe that last World Championship, I don't know how many people went. Ever since Maggie and Giza won medals in the 205 World Championship, we haven't been performing well. So the question is, what do we have to do to get more people qualified? And I think that's the job of the Ghana Athletics Association. Competition. I mean, not enough competition. I know the new group have done well. They do their Grand Prix. But you need multiple competitions all year long. Like I gave an example in US where kids in the summer, they keep competing week by week. For athletes, you have to compete to get better. Where there's lack of competition, you cannot produce the athlete that you want.
You've been moved to the nationality ratio of Ignatius Geza. I mean,
enough I've said. I mean, you media people should take it up with them and solve it. Me, I'm an outsider. But I was aware Geza called me to say that that's what he was doing. It was too late for me to intervene because he had made up his mind, put in his papers. But the best thing to do is make sure that doesn't happen again for the country.
What about Margaret and Co?
Margaret hasn't done that yet, but are we in dialogue with her to make sure she doesn't do that? So you have to remember, Margaret is a multiple discipline. She can do 5 different things very well. So even if she decides to stick to one thing, long jump, javelin, anything, she can still be the best for Ghana. So we have to just find out what's the issue is and make sure she doesn't do that.
As a former athlete, can't you speak to them?
I speak to them. I encourage them to stay. But then if they ask you, what about my money? What do you want me to tell them?
Mr. Osei,
I cannot do, but what do you want me to tell them? I'm not the one to pay them. Yes.
With this current trend of session, these athletes all came under you. I mean, what did you do different from this era?
I think it was just style of management, that's all. Management style. You just have to let them know you're working for them, you fight for them, you treat them with respect. You might fight with them, which I did sometimes, but it's behind the scenes. And you encourage them to do what they do best. Whatever support that you can give, you give. And you treat them like men and women. So these are all the things. Again, it's the style. The style makes everything. And if they don't buy into your style, even in football recently, I think one of the coach was saying that if you don't buy into their style, you won't be playing. So if the athletes are not buying into the new administration style, the conflict will come. So it's just a matter of the head guy has to find a way to try to work with everybody because you're the head.
So our cameras were at the techno events, and I'm sure hopefully in the next few years Ghana will be able to raise a few more athletes that can make us proud. In the past, we had the likes of Emmanuel Tufo, Nelson Boateng, Solomon Amegache, Leo Miles Mills, and quite a number of other athletes. Unfortunately, these days we can't boast much about what we have. Let's do some bets on weightlifting now, and our team from the weightlifting camp are preparing for some imminent assignments. Our cameras were there to have a look out at what they've been doing lately.
We are preparing for our African Championship coming up in Nigeria. So I strongly believe that we are going to do well.
Coach, for some time, weightlifting, you've not been in the picture. So we heard that you were preparing for this African Championship. What made you go dead silent?
We don't want to be maybe talking too much. We believe what we can do. As you know, we went at the maybe last Olympic Games as on maybe strong lifters like that. But I strongly believe that by the time we go to the African Championship, we are going to do well, then to proceed for maybe Youth Olympic Games.
Weightlifting for some time has been missing in the picture. If we would say maybe the less sponsored sports, do you think that it has been a worry for you as a coach of the discipline?
Yeah, it's a big worry to me because sometimes, we in the competitions, we strongly believe that if us we are doing well as far as weightlifting is concerned, we still want also other corporate also to be with us so that the game we move very well. Yeah.
Coach, in 2012, I was there in London with you. We just produced just one weightlifter in the person of Adoma. 2014, we are preparing for another Olympic. 2016, are we going to see more athletes coming from weightlifting to present the country?
Yeah, well, I've been training a couple of athletes. I'm also embark on the talent hunt so that we can have weightlifting will not be only in Accra. It will be in other regions, maybe like Kumasi and also maybe Takrady, something like that. So I strongly believe that by the time we maybe do the talent hunt, that will make the game known to Ghanaians that weightlifting also can do more like football.
Weightlifting, you're talking about talent hunt here. What will be your target? Is it that the ordinary man on the streets will be invited, or it's open to every weightlifter in the small gym or somewhere else?
It will be open to all the lifters in the country. Also, in weightlifting, if you know you are strong, you haven't been drink, but you yourself, you know whether both men and female, you know you are strong. You are invited, you come to maybe either Accra Sports Stadium, so that I can put you in test, then I can train you. You can also be useful to the nation, also useful for yourself also. Yeah.
Coach, I can see in your gym now, you have just some few ladies, maybe just two. Is it that ladies, apart from maybe Alberta, who represented us in Olympic Games, in the factor of ladies doing weightlifting, is it that the interest is not there or what?
In weightlifting, we strongly believe that apart from Alberta and Poma, we still have Afia Bochi. She's also a strong lady. We still have other corporate like in immigrations. We have 2 lifters from immigration, both men and female. We have one in police. So I strongly believe that my next stand will be more in number as far as weightlifting is concerned.
We have the youngest weightlifter who is still preparing for the African Championship, and I have her here. Let's interview her. She's 12 years of age. Your name?
Adoko.
Adoko what?
Alote.
Adoko Alote. Adoko, how do you see weightlifting, and why do you want to do weightlifting?
Because I want to achieve a medal for Ghana and for myself and for my family. So Ghana will be happy and I will be happy, then my family will be happy.
How difficult is weightlifting? Is it difficult?
Yes, but it is easy.
It is easy.
Yes.
So will you say some young girls to come also do weightlifting?
Yes.
You don't find it difficult in lifting?
Yes.
So who brought you into weightlifting?
The secretary.
She saw you and said you can do weightlifting?
No, because I watched a telly on Vasaton and they were doing weightlifting. So I saw Sister Afi, so I decided to do some because the way she was doing it, I was happy.
So what do you want to tell the young girls out there? Because you are lifting now, what do you want to tell them? Whether they should join you to win medals for Ghana or what?
Yes, I want to tell them that they should join me so we will work hard and achieve a medal for Ghana.
Well, so our lifters are leaving nothing to chance, and they are preparing feverishly for the African competition coming up shortly. We'll change sport again and do some bit of boxing because come August the 30th, it's going to be Bukom Banku taking on Ayite Powers. We have a preview of this bout for you.
It all began after the 10th-round cruiserweight contest between the unbeaten Bukom Banku and Georgian George Tevdokstichvili. Somehow, Bukom Banku spotted the man he has been avoiding, Ayite Powers, in the ring during the post-fight interview. Bukom Banku beckoned him into the ring, insisting he knows Ayite's mission. And the answer from the artificially bald man led to an unprepared jab from Brahma Kamoko. Brahma Kamoko, aka Bukom Banku, continued raining insults on Powers, even outside the ring, insisting he was not going to fight Powers. However, Banku slipped out of the hands of his handlers back into the ring and challenged Ayite to a fight. Ayite Powers explained reasons for the challenge.
I want to fight Bukom Banku because of something. Because the manager, the time here I fought Michael Benga, the manager said, I'm out in boxing, and I want to prove to the manager that I'm not out. So the person he thought is too much good. I want to beat the person. If I beat him, the manager can see that, yeah, I'm still Ayite Powers. That is it.
But Bukom Banku's manager, Henry Manley, Spain, accepted the challenge on condition.
I intend to do the fight only if both sides will agree, Akashi, the fight, one, has to be free. Secondly, it's going to be happening in Boko Square or Machagbona, and then the winner takes all.
These things happen sometimes. I mean, two boxers who are so raring to go against each other. And on August the 30th, we're going to see whether one would come out tops, and the winner is supposedly going to take all that is at stake. So we'll see how it goes. Let's still stay with boxing as well. And sad news coming in from the United States. Dwomoh, in his quest to win laurels, has lost out. Sadly, he lost out in the United States of America in his bid to become the new USPA IBF welterweight champion. The Ghanaian boxer, also known as Sugar Ray the Emperor now, lost to new boy Ray Robinson at the Bob Carpenter Center in Newark, Delaware, in his attempt to annex the vacant U.S. Boxing Association welterweight belt. This loss, the third ever for the boxer, was unexpected by Team Na, as they were counting on a win to firmly position the Emperor in a good place to rise into the top 10 highly ranked boxers in the world with the IBF. Now, Raymond now revived his career after a 2-year layoff by defeating Ronald Cruz in the nationally televised fight on NBC Sports Network in the USA on June the 14th, 2013 in Pennsylvania. This loss, therefore, comes as a setback to his corner. Well, let's still stay with boxing before we do a short round of commercial. Samuel Nikwe moved a step closer to World Championship reckoning after posting a split points decision over Doreen Spivey to claim the NABA lightweight title on Friday night. Now, the Ghanaian boxer dominated and floored the experienced Spivey in round number 5, but nothing came easy for Nikwe, who has dedicated the belt to his countrymen for their continued support. He added, "I dedicate this title to all Ghanaians and let them know that this is just the beginning of greater things to come. All I ask for is their continued support, and the world title will be delivered by the grace of God." We wish him well. We'll be doing a short round of commercials at this point. We'll be back to keep you up to speed with the latest on the continent and, of course, in Europe. Let's now take some stories on the continent, and we begin from Benin, where Beninois FA President Anjorin Mushafaru, a strong ally of CAF President Issa Hayatu, has been rearrested and sent to jail 2 days after he declined to run for a third term. Now, Mushafaru, who was recently elected as a member of CAF Executive Committee, was summoned this week alongside the body's FA's accountant Cecile Hozu for the same charges. The businessman is accused of mishandling up to $650,000 from sponsorship money from mobile phone company MTN between 2008 and 2010. Let's do some bit on the CHAN now. Then the Confederation of African Football has sent a high-level delegation led by Mr. Almami Kabele Kamara, the CAF second vice president and chairman of the CAF organizing committee of CHAN, and accompanied by CAF Deputy Secretary General Mr. Isa Mohammed, to the host cities for next year's CHAN. And these cities include Cape Town, Bloemfontein, and Polokwane. Now, CAF will conduct the official draw of the 16 teams on the 16th of September in Cairo. Only 12 teams have so far qualified, Ghana inclusive of those 12 teams. It's not a thing that you see Al Ahly losing a CAF Champions League match. Let's now focus on some players of Nigerian interest and begin with Obabuna, a defender who plays for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And several English Premier League clubs, including Liverpool, are said to be considering a loan for Omerio. Omerio. He was he played for the Nigerians in the CAN 2013, where the Nigerians won. Omerio has started training with the Chelsea reserves and will resume with the main team on their return from preseason training in the United States of America. From one Nigerian player to another Nigerian player, and Nigerian club Sunshine Stars say English Premier League side Arsenal have never asked to take Obabuna on trial. Now, media speculation last week suggested not only did the Nigeria defender turn down the offer of a trial, but he criticized Arsene Wenger too. But the 22-year-old has since come out to deny this particular story. Still on Nigerian players, and Nigerian striker Obafemi Martins was on target for Seattle Sounders as they recorded a 3-0 win over FC Dallas in a Major League Soccer match on Sunday. Now, Martins has so far scored 7 goals in 11 starts and 3 substitute appearances for Seattle Sounders in the MLS this season. We're still staying with Nigeria, and the NFF is insisting that it will not back down on its decision to slash bonuses paid to players in the national team. The NFF's decision to reduce performance money from $10,000 for a win and $5,000 for a draw to $5,000 and $2,500 respectively led to the national team almost boycotting the Confederations Cup in Brazil. With the bonus issue taking stage, the local media and the fans are hoping it would not disrupt Super Eagles' game against Malawi in a crucial World Cup qualifier. Now, despite some continued controversy, Aisha Johansson has been confirmed as the new president of the Sierra Leonean Football Association. She was unopposed in Saturday's polls of the 3 other candidates were disqualified. Now, the 48-year-old becomes just the second current female football boss in the world, alongside Lydia Nsekera of Burundi. Okay, so on that note, we draw the curtains on today's edition of Sports Today. I'm sure you'd enjoyed all our coverage of other weekend sporting activities together with all that's been happening in the pre-season. We're looking forward to the commencement of the major European leagues. The Bundesliga is starting this weekend, and next week, of course, we will all be looking forward to the English Premier League, hopefully live here on Joy Sports on Multi TV. Thanks to the entire production crew for making this possible. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.